says in Matthew chapter 8 that you won't hear him read this. They'll leave this out. He says, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Verse 11, watch what Jesus says. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. He's talking about many different nations. He's not talking about the lost tribes of Israel. He's talking about many different nations. And watch what's going to happen to the children of the kingdom. See, the black Hebrew Israelites, they won't talk about this verse where it specifically says that the children of the kingdom, the Jews, the 12 tribes, he says this in verse 12. He says, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Why won't the children of the kingdom make it in? Because they rejected their Messiah. Paul says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation. To the Jew first, and then to the Gentile. To the Jew first, because he came to them. He was their Messiah. That's why he says, I am sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And Jesus and the woman said, that's true, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table, meaning that whatever the Jews didn't want, the Gentiles were grafted in by faith. And so what the black Hebrew Israelites do, they don't misinterpret the scripture. They purposely leave out scriptures. It clearly says that the children of the kingdom shall be thrust out. This kingdom is going to be given to another.
You see what he's standing on? See, he's standing on a bold-faced lie, and you got to understand what's going on. You know full well that the slave master gave you that book. So what you got to go through is you got to go into the translation, because that is not what they're saying. Verse 11 says, and I say unto you that many shall come from east and west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. He's giving you the lineage of the Israelites. The Israelites came from Abraham. Blessing, the promise that was given to Abraham, went to him, then Isaac, and then Jacob. Them are the people that's going to sit down. The people of Jacob. That's talking about the Israelites. That's not talking about other nations. Because if he was talking about other nations, he would have said they would have sat down with Abraham and all the nations that came out of Abraham. No, he didn't end it with Abraham. Once you made it to Isaac, now you only got two nations, Esau and Jacob. He didn't say Esau. He said Jacob. But guess what he said in verse 12? This is what he don't understand. He talked about Esau in verse 12. Let's go get that. Let's go get the Esau. And see, when you see they translate in this situation, that's why you got to understand the whole situation. When what's that guy, the football player, he went over there to where these Edomites and took over the homeland, and he seen that they had Matthew written in Hebrew. So they got Matthew written in Hebrew. Why don't we got that Hebrew? Why don't we got that Hebrew translation? Why is they hiding the Hebrew translation of Matthew? Now let's get this Matthew 8. Let's get this Matthew 8 and 12. Let's see what the Greek, see, we don't got it in Hebrew because they know if we had it in Hebrew, it would debunk Christianity to the max. The whole Bible was written in the Hebrew. What they said, Jerome said he read the whole Bible in Hebrew, but they translated it in Greek so they can hide the truth. Now look at what he said in Matthew 8. Okay, let's get verse 12. Now this is the key. This is the key. Now what kingdom is he talking about? Because first of all, it's two kingdoms was mentioned in them two verses. It's two kingdoms that was mentioned. Verse 11 said the kingdom of heaven. But then he come down and he said in the children of Why did he even talking about a kingdom? He was not talking about the Israelites. Verse 11 was talking about the Israelites, man. He ended it with Jacob. That's just so clear. But he want to make his point. See, he trying to make his point and tell a lie. But look at what G3588. What does that say? Do it say the kingdom? Let's see if it's supposed to say the kingdom. Oh, this, that, and these. This, that, and these. Where is the? I don't see no the. I see this. This kingdom. And was the Israelites ruling at that time? Because that word don't only stand. Let's go into the etymology. That word do not only stand for uh the present, where you it don't only stand for kingdom. It has many. Let's go into that, because I'm gonna get out of here. I got to get out of here. But we see that say this. We're gonna leave that there. Now let's go back to this word kingdom. Let's see what kingdom stands for. See, kingdom ain't what English. It's isolated to what English says stands for. It has its own definition. Okay, so kingdom, royal power. Who was ruling at the time? Kingship. Was the Israelites ruling? Was the Israelites in authority? Look at that. Not to be confused with an actual kingdom, but rather the right or authority to rule over a kingdom. That's the children. See, he's not talking about just because he said the children of this kingdom. No, he's talking about people gonna sit down with the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven, but the children of Esau, the Romans who roaming around him, that's why he talking to a who? Centurion. He's not talking to somebody that just roaming around Israel or a high priest. He talking about somebody working for the freaking Edomites, the Romans. This is not talking about no freaking kingdom of Israel. What? Come on, man. He could have easily said that. He named the bloodline of the promise. It went from Abraham, Isaac, to Jacob, the Israelites, and then he said the kingdom, even the kingdom of heaven. That's easily talking about the future, because he knew Ezra's. Ezra was dead when Yahushua came on the scene. And Ezra said that the Israelites was going to rule after the Edomites. So it was already a clear understanding. And when the apostles, let's go get that real quick. I done hit them 2 points. Let's go back to him. What did the apostles ask him in Acts, man? These people was not asking him nothing about humanity. What did they ask him? Oh, he said in verse 6, when they therefore were come together, they asked him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Why they didn't say, you gonna bring the kingdom of heaven? See, they didn't throw that kingdom of heaven out there. They said that you gonna restore the kingdom of Israel, because we know the Edomites is ruling. These Romans is ruling over us. See, because we know clearly that the Romans and the Israelites were two different nations. And they was being oppressed by the Romans. The Romans was connected with the Greeks, and they was ruling all over in that area. They was fighting over, the Greeks and the Romans was fighting over rulership, but they was fighting their own people. When you go into Antiochus, you see through his whole history, all of the Antiochus and all his brethren was fighting for rulership. He had the Romans of his peoples in Rome, his peoples in Rome. All of them was from the Macedonians and the Edomites, man. When you go into that, you see they was all fighting for rulership, just like the Russians, the Germans, the Americans. They all fighting for rulership. Who gonna rule over the whole world? Who gonna have the top spot? See, since the Cold War, these Edomites been fighting with each other, and ain't nothing changed. Just like Solomon saying, nothing changed up under the sun. Ain't nothing new up under the sun. These Edomites is ruling in their kingdom, and ain't nothing changed. The apostles was asking, was something when a change happened? Where is the kingdom going? Where's the rulership, the kingship, the royal power, the right to rule? When was that going to come to the Israelites? See, because they don't want to deal with these words. They want to go off English, which is a trick language. That's why they say spell. They putting a spell on people because it's a trick language. It's not gonna give you the truth where the word began. They stole a bunch of words out of so many different places and created them a whole language in the 1500s and kept expounding on it, and they don't give you the meaning of these things. The language started in Hebrew. It all should be coming from Hebrew because these are Hebrew people. They was not speaking and messing with these other languages. Yeah, Paul probably could speak some Greek because he was hanging around these people. He became a Greek citizen. And our people is intelligent. We can speak Spanish, English, and French. We can speak all of them. Kobe Bryant knew about 6 languages. We can speak these different languages. But at the same time, the language that we know the most is the language that we grew up with. And them people language was Hebrew. Why is you taking it out of the Hebrew? Because you trying to hide the truth. Let's go back to that verse because it's so clear, and that's what he want to stand on. 8 and 12. He want to stand on that verse, and you ain't standing on. You cut yourself wide open like a big fish. Look at verse 11. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west. And that's quoting almost a quote straight out of Isaiah 43, verse 4 and 5, talking about the Israelites gonna come from the east and west, and they gonna sit down with the chosen bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the kingdom of heaven. That kingdom of heaven was belonged to Yahushua, who was the king of Israel. See, he wasn't the king of the world. He was king of Israel. He wasn't the king of all nations. See, this is what they wants to keep the lie going. And everybody has debunked these people. They known to be liars. They whitewash everything. That's a bold-faced lie. God is not supposed to lie. See, he don't deal with lies. You worship God in spirit and truth. You don't deal with lies, man. Them people are known to lie. Everything they did was a lie. You came from a monkey. Okay, we gonna believe a liar. The world been here billions of years. Where's your proof of this billions of years? You only got the carbon dating thing that go back 5,000 years. Why are you talking about billions of years? You just spew that out your little mouth. Where's these dinosaur bones? You ain't never found a dinosaur bone in your life. It's nowhere in the whole history is somebody finding a dinosaur bone. But they'll have dinosaurs all through museums, all on the TV. See, they certified liars. The whole Hollywood is a whole lie. Special effects. Who the best special effects peoples in who can make stuff look real? With a certified fake, it's a certified lie. But the best liars when it comes to special effects is the so-called white men, the Edomites. These peoples are known to be liars. And that's the children that he talking about. He not talking about the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He not talking about their children. He talking about the children of this kingdom will be thrown into outer darkness. And they're going to be gashing their teeth. And that's who the Satan and the devil is. Because Satan just means adversary of God. Esau was an adversary of Jacob at all times. That's why he named Esau. This verse right here is just 2 Ezra 6 and 9. And it's Romans 9 and 13. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. You talking to a centurion, somebody working for the military. He's telling this man, you working for him, but guess what? Them people is not gonna be in the kingdom. This kingdom is for the Israelites. Now, the other thing he want to bring up, let's hit that and I'm gonna close out. John 1. This is just too clear. But see, they want to have to try to twist the word. They want to twist it because you talking some ignorant mess. Look at what he's saying, verse 13. Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of God. That's all he's saying. It didn't come from the will of man. It came from God that they're going to be sons of God. And what came from God? The promises. The promises came from God. So you're going to say the promises can go to all nations when the promises was only promised to one nation, the children of Jacob. That's who the promises was promised to. And let's get Malachi, because this is what they trying to do. See, you trying to say the promises is going to be deleted. But what did Yahweh, the universal God, the creator of all men, what did he say? For I am the Lord Yahweh. I change not. I change not. The sons of Jacob are not consumed. See, the sons of Jacob is going to sit down and rule. Let's get that. They going to sit down at the table and be having a seat with Yahweh Shah. It's not, let me go ahead and get that, man. They gonna be on the throne, not some freaking Edomites and Ishmaelites and whatever likes. They not gonna be ruling with Yahweh Shah. What it say? Did it say? Hold on, wait a minute. Did he say that it was gonna be somebody else? Let's let it stay red. That ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on throne judging the 12 tribes of the world. Oh, they judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So you mean to tell me that Israel was kicked out? They ain't gonna sit at the table with Yahweh Shah. He was talking about the little military Israelite man, because he was in the military for the Romans, because they was ruling, but he was an Israelite. He gonna choose him that's an Israelite, but at the same time the Israelites gonna get kicked out. The children of the Israelites of that kingdom, they gonna get kicked out. Come on, Ron, right? You don't bump your head, or they done paid you some money, and you need to go on to they paying $24 at the gas station, man. Why are you sitting here selling out to the so-called slave master? It don't make sense. But we know the Lord blinded these people. But it's good edification, you see, because he blinded them. And just like, let's get this real quick, because I'm not going to go into this too much. It's just ridiculous. He done come up with what kind of verse? But thank you. How we saying Hebrew the water? You came up with a good verse that showed that why these people didn't translate this Bible how they supposed to translate it. That can go into Revelations 22. That can go right into Revelation 22, but I ain't gonna go into Revelation 22. Let me hit it on this right here. See, this was going on with our people, see. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion that they shall believe a lie. See, because let's keep reading, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. See, that's what these people do. They got pleasure in unrighteousness. And they love not the truth. They don't love the truth that they are a possible son of God, and they can get an everlasting life. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rikak Dash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace of the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.